It is mathematically impossible for you or me to sell a book. And I'm going to prove this right now. There are about 400 million English speakers in the entire world. Let's say at any given moment, about 1 in 10 of those people are looking to read a new book. Let's also say that about 1 in 10 of those people are looking to read a book in your specific genre. Let's then also say that about 1 in 1,000 of those people are willing to read a book that they've never heard of before. And then let's finally say that about 1 in 4,000 of those people are looking to read a book that no one has ever heard of before. Then we do the math real quick, and what we see is there is one person who is willing to read your book. One person out of 8 billion people on Earth is even willing to try buying your book. Not necessarily going to buy your book, but is even willing to buy your book. To make this even worse, every year about 2.5 million books are self-published. That's just self-published, that's not published. Which means this one guy who's willing to read your book also has millions upon millions upon millions of books, because books do not expire. That one person is faced with tens of millions of choices before they ever even get to your book. What this means is you have a better chance of winning the lottery 3 times over than you do of selling your self-published book that no one has ever read before. Now, can you beat the odds? Is there a way to beat the odds? Because people do sell books. I mean, even self-published authors sell books, and even people who've never sold a book before sell books sometimes. So someone must be able to beat the odds. Well, no, nobody ever beats the odds. I mean, maybe someone beats the odds, but no, people do not beat the odds. What they do is they change the odds. Now, how do you change these odds? The most common advice you're going to get from published authors, editors, agents, people like that, people in the industry, they're going to be like, well, you have to become a better writer. Become a better writer. That'll help you sell books. No. That is completely untrue. Good writing may make people want to keep reading your book, may make people want to buy your next book, but good writing will not help you sell a book. Nobody buys a book because it has good writing. People buy a book because they've heard of it, other people have recommended it, it's culturally popular, it's culturally relevant, it popped up on the Reddit threads, it popped up on the Google search results. That's why they buy a book. Nobody buys a book because the writing is good. And how do they even know that the writing is good before they read it? And so that's no, good writing does not, that is advice you will get a lot of times, and it's a good advice for writers. I mean, becoming a better writer is not a bad thing. It's just, it's not going to help you sell that first book, and it's probably honestly not going to help you sell the second book either. Another piece of advice you're going to get a lot in writing circles is like, well, you go find an agent. An agent can help you sell a book, and that's true. An agent can help you sell a book. Now, the thing is, though, is agents do not sell books. Agents sell people. You have to understand that. That is very, 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 very important when you are getting into this space. Agents do not sell books. Agents sell people. Are you the type of person that an agent wants to sell? If you want to know the answer to this question, well, go and find book agents and see, and they will tell you a lot of times who they want to sell and who they don't want to sell. Well, they won't tell you who they don't want to sell, but they'll tell you who they do want to sell, and there you will find out. I'm not going to get into which types of people are most commonly the ones that agents want to sell. You can go find that out for yourself. I'm definitely not going to get into any discussion about whether that's good or bad. I don't particularly care. But yeah, so no, if you find an agent and they want to sell you and they are willing to sell you and they seem like they've had success selling other people in the past, then yeah, sure, now get an agent. By all means, hire that agent. Don't get an agent, get that specific one. But if you're not that type of person, then honestly, don't even bother. It's gonna be a waste of time and potentially even a waste of money. You could try to approach a traditional publisher. They'll help you sell a book. The reason why people don't want to buy a book that no one has ever read before is because that kind of quality check, the wisdom of the crowd is not there. When you have a traditional big time publisher, like let's say Tor Books or something, if you're a fantasy writer, that kind of hacks that. And so whether anybody's ever read the book or not, the fact that it's been published by a big time publisher and is likely now in stores, that will largely, that kind of makes people think, oh, it's past that quality check. I can be reasonably sure that the quality of this book is at least at that minimum standard where I'm not going to feel like garbage because I bought it. So that is an option. Now the thing is everybody wants to be published by a big time publisher, and big time publishers already have authors that they know can sell. So the chances of you personally, as a brand new author no one's ever heard of, getting a big time publisher to choose your book is pretty low. Might as well kind of, I don't know. I mean, if you think that can work, then go ahead. Probably my thing, I will tell you right now, most likely not going to happen. The common pieces of writing advice that you might get are not really gonna help you sell a book. The things that are gonna help you sell a book are you either have to sell people something else, build an audience for something else that's easier to sell people, and then you kind of maybe transfer that audience over to your book. The solutions to this are, I mean, there's many solutions to this, because I mean, people do sell books, and the people who sell books are the people who have done these other things. I'm not really going to get too into those things today. You kind of, if you really want to sell books, you'll find out what those things are, and you'll do those things. But yeah, if you don't somehow make it, if you don't somehow change these odds, then yeah, you're never going to sell books. It's just not going to happen. One good thing you can do is you can find other writers who are kind of in the space, who are also small-time writers, who are also unread. You can read their books and comment on their books. Now, if you say, hey, I'll read your book, you read my book, that's kind of, one, a little annoying, and two, it's probably not going to help that much. But if you do kind of actually network, actually engage with other people's work on a level that, you know, because you actually care about their work, then, and don't expect them to, don't do it as an exchange, but just do it as just a good thing, then, I mean, you likely will eventually get some amount of readership from that. You will get some amount of cachet by building that network, and then you can use that network to your advantage. Other than that, I mean, you kind of have to see, can you sell something else? If you are, you know, if Leonardo DiCaprio tomorrow decided to reinvent himself as an author, he'd be able to sell books. He'd be able to sell your book, and he'd be able to sell millions of copies of this. And the reason he would is because, well, he's spent 2 decades selling everybody in the world effectively. He spent 2 decades selling them a different product. Most of them liked that other product, and so when he sells them a new product, they're like, well, I liked his other stuff, maybe I'll like this one too. That's one way, is you build an audience in some other thing, and some of those people may become fans of yours, and they may decide that, well, if I'm a fan of his work on this thing, maybe I'll like his book also. And once you get a few people who have read that book, well, now you kind of have broken this. When a person's looking for a book and they say, I want to read a new book. I don't care whether I've heard of it or not. I still want to read. I just want to read something new. Oh, this one. Well, it looks like other people like this one. I'll give this one a shot. And now, yes, you could say like, well, this math that you've done, you kind of just gamed that math to make it turn out into one person, and maybe these aren't perfect. I did just make these numbers up. But ask yourself, do you think these numbers are totally unrealistic? Do you really think there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who are just dying to read a book that is clearly self-published, clearly the cover was made in MS Paint? Are they willing to spend their money and spend their time on that book? You know, any book that's an actual novel length, you're talking about hours of investment, the hours that could be spent watching movies, watching videos, watching sports, playing sports, going out with your friends, drinking. There's a million other things that could take up a person's time, and they're going to spend that time instead on reading. They're not going to necessarily want to spend money that they worked hard to earn and time that they have a limited amount of and could spend on something else on some completely untested self-published book, when, let's be honest, the space of self-published books is not exactly known as being as full of quality. Hidden gems do exist in the world of self-publishing, but they're hidden gems because they're hidden under a large pile of steaming garbage. And I'm sure some people can say, well, this is just cynicism and this is just an excuse because, well, your book's not very good. And I mean, yeah, I know it is pretty cynical, and the fact is that, no, I mean, my book may not be very good. I personally, I don't, I have no illusions about that I'm some kind of great author or that I told the greatest story in the world. So if that's what, I mean, if you want to know whether my book's good or not, go ahead and check it out yourself. Or, I mean, watch the other videos I have. I'm going through it chapter by chapter, but that's not really the point. The point is like, well, I mean, if you think I'm just being a cynic and this means nothing, and I'm just trying to find reasons, self-justify. I'm just trying to justify to myself why my book didn't sell. Well, I mean, I guess go ahead, write your book, throw it up on Amazon, and see how many people just randomly buy it. Maybe people will, maybe they won't. Now, I'm sure there will be some people who will say, well, I went and did blah, 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 and I beat the odds, so maybe the odds aren't so bad after all. I think you will find that if you really interrogate those people, you will find, oh no, they did a lot of other things, or they had a lot of other advantages that may not universally apply to a new author, and that's more likely why they sold a book than anything else. Everybody wants to think that the reason their book sold is because it's the most amazing, greatest thing ever in the world, and they're the main character of the story of life. But the likelihood is that that's not true. They're just another person in a sea of people, and they're not very special, and they may be unique, but they're not particularly more unique than anybody else. And if their book did sell, it is likely because there were other factors at play. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's kind of a depressing video, I guess. Tomorrow we'll be looking at chapter 6 of my unsellable book. I believe chapter 6, maybe chapter 7. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But we'll be looking at a new chapter of that, and maybe more videos to come. I know I said I was going to do a video about maps this week. I think I'm going to spend a little more time on that video before I get it out. I don't want to spend too much longer on this one, though, so I think I'm going to just sign off here. I know it's kind of a depressing video. You know, I might actually at some point remake this and do a better and more concise thing. Not as rambly and cool visuals, that type of thing, because YouTube is a lot easier to sell on YouTube, but it does still takes work, and editing work and stuff like that. I'm completely off topic now. I'm gonna sign out. I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and I will see you next time. Peace out.